Okay, everybody. Now, today is a very important day because it is May 1st. And this is not turned toward me. So I thought that I would start an Amenten meeting. I've officially decided to not go through with the bailing out of the Amenten because I had a change of heart. And I thought, well, why not continue? Now, I knew intellectually that I couldn't change the past. But in terms of a feeling level, I kind of feel now like, why not just continue? Because a part of me wants to continue doing this. Now, I want to apologize for all of the things that I said about you that were wrong, that I should not have said, in the past. I want to take that back. So, I thought that I would get that clear into the open. Now, I'm going to go over what the plans for the month are of May, because there's several things happening this month. I'm going to break it down chronologically. I'm going to go through a lot of information. I'm going to share some stuff. We may end up doing something. Maybe we'll go outside. I don't know. It'll just depend, or maybe I could see what is in some of the drawers, and then we could get out and get something and do an activity of some kind. Okay. Now, today is May 1st, and today Pluto is stationing to turn retrograde. It'll be retrograde until middle of October of this year. So it's going to start in Aquarius. It's going to back up in June next month on the 11th. It's going to move back into Capricorn. It's going to continue going this direction. It's going to continue going backward until October 10th. It's going to station retrograde in Capricorn. And then around the 20th of January next year, it will re-enter Aquarius. And the Sun will conjunct Pluto at the very beginning of Aquarius, which should be huge. And then it will continue on until around the same point next year, and it'll turn retrograde again, go back into Capricorn. And then in September of next year, it will station direct, and then November 19th next year, it'll enter Aquarius full time, and then 2025 is going to be, a whole nother ball game in and of itself, and there's a lot happening in 2025. Mars is going retrograde, Venus is retrograde, the North Node is going to change sign, Uranus is going to change sign, Saturn, and Neptune, and Jupiter, of course. So, lots happening in that particular time period. A huge part of what I want to get at, just kind of foreshadowing, and plans may change. 2 years from now, 2025, is when we're going to be taking a really profound look at Superman and tying that into Neptune in Aries, because I think of Neptune in Aries and Superman comes to mind. So we're going to be, revisiting that. I think there's supposed to be Mercury retrograde in March and early April of 2025, so that would be a wonderful time to revisit Superman and see where were they then versus where are they now. So, there might be some stuff with that. And of course, a lot of other things happening that particular year. So, you know, and I may end up doing, you know, a video series on Neptune through Aries, because there's a lot to go through. The shadow sides of Neptune and Aries and the more positive side of it. Because I think it's fascinating to look at both sides with this particular placement. And there's a history of Neptune and Aries. Neptune was in Aries during the American Civil War, the 100 Years' War, England versus France, Britain versus France. I was watching a movie the other night about King Henry V, who became king at a very early age, around about 18, 19 years old, 20 years old. He became king, and I just think it's so fascinating that he took on this role of leading this country so young, and everybody looked up to somebody that was younger than them, and it was Aquarian, but then not so Aquarian at the same time. Aquarius is a sign, I think it's related to youth and the young people sort of, leading. But of course, the way of the land and the way things worked is if your father passed on, then the eldest son would inherit the throne of becoming king. So that was the, the sort of by the book way things went, and it wasn't so Aquarian. It was tradition, so it was more Capricorn. But just the fact that young later was ruling is very Aquarian, I think, and it is charming to think about that. And of course, there could be a new historical in-role, but being authentically real addition to that building. And I think I'm going to add an addition to the building with those, individuals in the building. I think I'm going to be having adolescents from Great Britain and England come and get cloned. I think it's no secret that you all know how it works now. So you all know the secret. And just know that I know what I'm doing. I made a whole video about it. I wouldn't clone people if it was inhumane and immoral and unethical. I'm simply taking advantage of the technology that I have. You come on a thing, press a button, you get copied, and the original person goes home. And, no one gets harmed in the end, and I do not seek to harm people or play with anyone. People are not resources and they're not toys. The fact is that Joka has the technology and resources that it has, and when life hands you lemons, what do you do with it? No, I don't, people are not resources. I do not use people. I don't agree with using people. I'm not going to go against what I want to go against for, what I want to do for others. And not be true to myself. You may think things and believe things about it. I was thinking and feeling the same way when I questioned those people, those tech people in Joka who set up those cloning machines, and they assured me that it was fine. And so then, all of the pushback came to get rid of it, and I was not going to, and I'm still not going to. And it's really not your concern. And, I think that you all know who I am. I'm not someone who is crazy or, does wrong in those kind of ways. I'm not that person. So, anyway, talking about May. First of all, just the astrological summary. We have the Sun conjunct Mercury today, Pluto going retrograde. Tomorrow we have the Moon moving into Libra. On the 5th we have the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. On the 6th, not astrological, we have the coronation of King Charles III. The 7th of the month we have Venus moving into Cancer. So the focus can be put on home and family and ones that we love. 12th of the month is the quarter moon in Aquarius, so we can detach and rise out of being caught in our emotions, and it's in between that full moon and the new moon. Then on the 14th, Mercury goes direct. On the 16th, Jupiter enters Taurus. From the 17th through the 21st, we have the fixed Grand Cross. Jupiter is going to square Pluto. Mars is going to be opposite Pluto, squaring Jupiter, squaring the lunar nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, and of course, I'm sure that new moon in Taurus on the 19th of May will be involved with the Grand Cross as well. On the 20th, Mars will enter Leo. On the 21st, the Sun will move into Gemini. Beyond that, things going on at the Amenten, just to break down sort of the days. Today is NickStellino's birthday and Mayday, no one needs saving. Tomorrow is Taurus Health Day, so you're looking at Taurus health and wellness as a sign. You're going to be looking at that. So, Taurus, the part of the body that it rules, and how can the Taurus stay healthy? The 3rd is Carol Burke's birthday, who played in Dancing with the Stars, who was, in Dancing with the Stars, and also in, Dance Moms. The 4th is Audrey Hepburn's birthday. So we're going to be looking at her and her role in My Fair Lady. You'll be watching My Fair Lady here at 7 p.m. in the Amenten, building that evening. May 5th is Adele's birthday, who is a famous singer. And it is Cinco de Mayo and the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. The next day, on the 6th, is the coronation, and it's also a day we're going to be looking at planting tips and cooking kitchen hacks on May 6th. May 7th, we're going to be looking at A.D. Brilliant from SNL. She was an actress for SNL. And we're also going to be looking at Buddhism. We're going to be looking at Buddha, because I don't know if Buddha was born on May 7th, but we can only assume. And we're going to be looking at Buddhism and Taurus energy, basically. May 8th is Maria de Simone's birthday, and that day I want to hone in on the worth and values aspect to Taurus. Because she really focuses in on the worth and values side of Taurus, so we'll be looking at Taurus, reading articles and watching things about self-worth and personal values on May 8th. May 9th is a Sun-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. It is also a day where we're going to be extending out the Buddhism with getting out in nature and doing Taurian nature exercises, because there's actually someone born on May 9th whose name is Miranda Esmond White, and she does a show on PBS called Classical Stretch Eccentrics, and so she travels to these islands, particularly in Jamaica, and does these shows where she does stretching. So we'll be looking at that. And it's also a day to focus on international cuisine. looking at cuisine from the globe, um, you know, different places around the globe, um, and eating and enjoying that. So, we'll do that. You'll find out about that closer to the time. May 10th is Rick Steve's birthday, who has a travel show, Rick Steve's Europe. He goes around, travels Europe, um, and does that show. May 11th, from Dance Moms, is Holly Fraser's birthday, who was Nia's mom. May 12th is the quarter moon in Aquarius. May 13th, we're looking at May 13 now. This particular day is a day that I want to look at Taurus resilience and survival. And the reason behind this is it all started out with watching an episode of I Survived, and a woman was telling a really graphic story of when she was 18 and working in a bar, coming out to the parking lot, and then she got, somebody who demanded her give her a ride, and then they ended up going somewhere, and then he started, attacking her violently. So, I do want to take a look at that. I do want to take a look at Taurus resilience and survival, and maybe some of the downsides, maybe some of the darker qualities of Taurus, which relates to stubbornness and stuckness. But also, it can relate to being so rigid and not willing to give up comfort zones and be uncomfortable. There was an Instagram account that I follow. It's called Miraculously Melissa, and I think around that time I'm going to be having her come to the Amenten, and she can tell us about her story, her personal story of something really traumatic that happened in her life and how she evolved because of it. She is a Taurus sun with a lot of fixed energy, and she has a lot of insights that she can give us, and I think that day would really be appropriate for that. May 14 is Mother's Day. It's also the day that Mercury is going direct. We're not really going to be doing anything on that day. Now, the next day, on the 15th of the month, is an Italian holiday called Santo Baldo. And if you've ever seen the show is called Ciao Italia, Marion Esposito goes to Gubbio, and she's among this crowd of people, these chariot racers, race, they end up going around to the different crowds, and then there's a whole festival, there's a whole feast for honoring the, I think it's a priest or a pope or a saint, Santo Baldo. And it's a whole holiday. Of course, this day, for those of you who remember being at my Amenten last year, it's the birthday of somebody that I just want to, move on from. So, May 16, Jupiter entering Taurus. You're going to be watching a video about Jupiter and Taurus from an astrologer, reading something about that, and it's also a day where we're going to be going to the park, if the weather permits. We're going to be going to a park or taking a walk in nature to herald us into the Jupiter in Taurus energy. So, we'll talk about what that means, at that time. Of course, on the 17th is the semifinals, the choir semifinals. The 18th of the month is Tina Fey's birthday. we're going to be looking at her, watching, things of her, and then looking at a couple of the films that she played in. May 19 is the 1-year anniversary of my computer, and it's also the new moon in Taurus. And on new moons, full moons, eclipses, we don't meet, and the Amenten doesn't run. So you'll be staying home on that particular day. The 20th of the month. Now, okay, so this is where we're crossing over into our nodal living experience. So by May 19, by May 18th, actually, you should have your person that you're going to be spending time with up until the beginning of June. So up until, I sort of cut it back a little bit to the 3rd, around the 3rd of June. I think the full moon in Sagittarius is like June 3rd or something. So, from, May 19th to June 3rd, June 2nd, June 3rd, you're going to be living with somebody whose lunar nodes are opposite yours, and see what you can teach them and what you can also learn from them. So you want to find somebody whose nodes are opposite yours, who will be in perhaps a different generation than you are, will be older or younger than you. It all depends. You're preferably somebody who has nurturing, capacity, and can nurture and take care of you. So somebody older than you whose nodes are opposite yours. If you have North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo, you would want to find somebody who was probably born 1996, 1997. That was when the North, or earlier than that, when the North Node was transiting through Pisces, the South Node, or when the North Node was transiting through Virgo, the South Node was moving through Pisces. So it's opposite. You want to find somebody who's opposite yours. Now, you'll be doing that. That is a general overview for you for this month. Now, that being said, however, some things go beyond what is planned. So, I do know that Mary Sanchez right now is looking at the Food Network stars with her Amenten. And I think it would be really fun to have somebody come to, my Amenten, who's, I think, came here before, and who is none other than Jada de Laurentiis, who will be coming here. I'm sure that you know who that is. She will be coming perhaps sometime this spring. It may be May, it may be June. But maybe, I'll see. She'll probably be cooking and preparing things, recipes for us, and sharing, her expertise when it comes to being in the kitchen, being on, Food Network Star. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Now, the next point that I want to talk about is when it comes to live streams. When it comes to live streams, preferably watch a live stream after it's done getting live, because there's immense FOMO and guilt from not watching it live. I'm never going to watch a live stream that's live ever again. I'm always going to wait till it's over before I can watch it. That's my rule. For several reasons, and one of them being you feel pressured to type something in the chat. I just wish that, everything could be pre-recorded. There was no live. It was all pre-done, pre-recorded. There's so many more advantages to pre-recorded videos. You can edit them, you can change things out. And if you see, for example, if you're seeing a live stream that says May 2023 astrology and you have a lot of work to do, then you need to put priorities in place, and you need to appreciate what you've already engaged in and appreciate the videos that are quick and that you've already seen, and find the fulfillment and value and meaning in what you're doing to make up for that live stream at the particular time until you can watch it. And Brecca Goldsmith was going live, and I said this to you on the last meeting, she is not Deborah Silverman, who was the first astrologer that I have ever followed. And, so, if I were to choose, I were to choose her pre-recorded videos. I am going to allow myself to watch, live videos, just not when they're going live, because technically after it's done live streaming, it's, a video, So, anyway. Actually, that would be a really, really good thing to flip a coin on, which I'm going to do. Yeah, actually, I'm going to flip a coin on whether or not I want, whether what I'm going to do. Maybe. Okay. So, that being said, we are going to be going downstairs and, wait, what time is it? What time is it now? It is 11:37. My goodness. Okay, so, now that you've heard me talk about, May, preferably see a video on May 2023 astrology. A video talking, looking at it from that perspective, looking at it from a monthly perspective. Now, also, Call It Baron Reed has her monthly oracle readings. Remember she came here on March 4th, the day that her progressed moon moved into Capricorn. Brecca Goldsmith has a webinar on the progressed moon through the signs. If you're interested, you can sign up for that. It's fascinating to learn about the different emotional phases that you're going through for 2.5 years. So you're born with a unique moon placement, but then the moon, your sort of progressed moon moves, 2.5 years, and then you get a new flavor and you get to experience all the moon signs, and then you're in a certain emotional phase. And for my progressed moon in Cancer right now, I think I am more on the extroverted side of that. With all that I'm doing for social media, and I am less shy about showing my life and telling who I am, and what I feel, what is that I feel comfortable. I'm going to be completely free, but if it's at the cost of discomfort and embarrassment, and it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. Now, that said, you can go to lunch, have a wonderful day, go see that video. There's another astrologer who I have watched a couple of videos from. His name is Patrick Arundel. He does quite a few videos on the astrology, the current astrology. He does monthly horoscopes, he does weekly horoscopes for the signs. He does a lot. So, yeah, you can check him out too. Of course, there's so many astrologers out there, so anyway. And of course, Nadia Shah has her weekly video, so you can watch that. Okay, so that's it, everybody. Bye for now.